So today we're going to be taking apart a PlayStation 3 that I bought on eBay for £8. Collected it from not too far from where I live, so thought why not take it apart. The seller said that the only issue with it, and the only issue that I can find after I've plugged it in and it turns on, it loads in, it's not banned or anything like that, is that the disc tray doesn't work. So you can hear it moving, hear it turning over sort of thing, but it either has a disc in there, something like that. So we're going to take this one apart and then have a look, see if we can fix that. For the time being, I'll probably keep this console. This being my first video, this being my first attempt at YouTube, so I thought I'll probably end up keeping this one, and then as a memento, I guess, and then see where we go from there. So yeah, first things first, with the PS3, as far as I remember, there is only one screw to take this top panel off where it says PlayStation 3, should I say, which is on the bottom here, which, yeah, so this rubber seal here, that is in there, so on here, the rubber seal, I'm going to use these to take that out, and then we get down in there, so this screw is a T10 screw, as far as I can find, and it's actually got one of the security pins in there, so you'd have to have one of those pieces to get this out. Yeah, and as you can see, that's what I'm talking about there, the security pin that's in the middle of that. So yeah, you can see once you've got that off, you can literally just slide this top panel right back and it will come off. Let's put that to the side, and then there is marked out with arrows, but they are Phillips heads. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws to take out there. So I'm going to try standard Phillips PH1. Yeah, I would say that's the right one. And you can see these screws are quite long. Obviously, when you're doing this, make sure that you don't have any power going to the console. Oh, some are quite long, some aren't. Has been a while since I've taken an old fat PS3 apart. But to be honest, I do this sort of thing mainly as a hobby of mine, just usually with my old own consoles that I've stopped working, made a lot of noise because of overheating, not overheating, but getting hot because of dust build up and stuff. So I just thought, do you know what, I might as well start making a YouTube. And here we are. As I said, this is my first video, so don't expect anything miraculous or amazing, but in the future, hopefully it will get a little bit better. Okay, so now I believe there is little tabs. Yep, little tab in that corner there that you have to push in, and that should allow you to take this top panel off, which if we flip that over, you can see the amount of dust that's accumulated. From my sort of visual inspection of this console, I think, and a little conversation with the seller when I picked it up, I think he probably put this into his attic or his shed or something like that, and it's just been there for a number of years. He's probably had a clear out and thought, oh, do you know what, I remember it having an issue with the disc tray, I'll just put it on eBay, I'll see what I can get for it. But as you can see, I don't know how well this is going to show up on this. it's quite dirty. It's quite covered in dust. It's what it is. We should be able to clean all of that up. And like I said, I've actually powered up this console, connected it to my TV and stuff like that, and it works perfectly fine in that sense. A little bit noisy, but they were always a bit noisy. Yeah, just get this all dismantled, see where we go. Here we go. So you can see on this power supply, and this disc hole, there is tons of dust. It's getting all over me. But I believe it's just going to be surface dust, and probably once we've opened this fully up, we'll probably find that once we remove the dust layer, everything should probably be working fine. Like I said, because it has started. So next, what we're going to do, I'm going to take this power pack out here. So as you can see, there's one screw sort of in the middle there. Not in the middle, in the front there. There's one at the side. There's another one slightly further back. See them there on the sides. And then there's one at the bottom there. And then you can see one a little bit further down, behind, underneath the black plastic of the power supply housing. That's also just a little arm, so that needs to come out as well. So I'm just going to do that. Like I said, a lot of this memory is from memory, so if I make a mistake, I'll just sort of document that there. But as you'd expect with a lot of these power supplies, they're on some pins that will hold them in place, and they are usually quite tough, so you just got to give it a bit of a tug. So you can see there's one clip here to come out, and there's one at the front as well. Just pull that one out, and that's power supply out. So we can remove that, put that over here. So I'm just going to use a pry tool to push it out. And that is now out. And then there'll be a Phillips. Like I said, I'm just using a normal PH1. And you should be able to just pull on this little tab, and it will just come out. So I'm just going to give that a little air dust as well. So when we reinstall it, so like I said, this is the 80 gig. So they come with a Seagate 80 gig hard drive. I know that they can be upgraded, but I won't be upgrading this one. I'm just going to leave it as is, because I want to probably keep it as much as its original parts as I possibly can. I just think that would be more fitting what I want to achieve with my channel. So just to talk about that, what I want to achieve is like getting the idea of not just fixing up old things, but not throwing them away, restoring them, repairing them. And as you can guess by the name of the channel, I like to build things as well. So there will be some building of stuff just from scratch, or utilising bits and pieces from other things to try and create something new. Won't be to sell or anything like that, just because I'm interested in that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to remove some of these cables just so that they're not in the way. So we'll see, keep that with the power cable, power supply. So you can see there's some ones here, some brown ones, little brown flip tabs. Flick those up, we can remove that. So I'm just going to have a look at that. Like I said, I don't think the seller of this took it apart or anything, so most of this sort of stuff should be in pretty good nick, unless it would go brittle over time or anything. But to remove the disk drive, which is actually on this one, like I said, the problem with it. So I'm going to try and get that removed now. So we've removed that ribbon cable by flipping. Oh. So I've removed this ribbon cable here from this point. Just flip up the black little bit there. And then down at the front, you'll see you can remove that from the side of the drive there. And then I'm just going to remove it completely off the board. And then get down to, alright, I think I can hear a disc or so in there. So I think there's a possibility that we might have one, maybe two discs jammed in there. Probably, because I know when I was a young dad myself, I had to take my 80 gig PS3 apart, to be honest. For the exact reason I just mentioned. My newborn or young son just starting to move around on his own, and he jammed his DVD into the slot while I already had a PlayStation game in there, so that damaged that. So now I'm going to remove all the screws that are holding the board in place. So there's these ones along the outside here, and then hopefully we can remove it. Now, this will obviously just be the top cover for this. So because of that, you can see that the clamps are still in place. So I need to remove them. So I need a slightly, might be right. Usually I would go and get the correct head, but this should be fine. I don't know. The thing that inspired me to do this YouTube channel was actually someone else's channel. Just started getting into Tronics Fix, which I believe is in the US. I'm in the UK, as you can probably tell by the accent. But yeah, he does a lot of this to numerous things, and it sort of inspired me because I was always interested in similar stuff to start doing this myself. So, like I said, I'm not looking to be perfect. I'm not looking to make anything amazing. If I can, at the very least, inspire myself and my son and my daughters, that would be the best part for me. But if it inspires other people, then why not? That's what I'm going to say. So I know when I turn this over, first thing someone like Tronic Fix, what he'll be looking for is the thermal paste. It's one thing I've learnt from his channel. Something I knew about, but it's something I've found funny about his channel, that he's always looking for the perfect amount of thermal paste. And now shouldn't have too much of an issue taking this board up. Yep, just pry it from the front a little bit, then you should be able to pull it right out. So as you can see straight away, there is tons of dust inside here. I'm going to have a look at the capacitors and stuff, but like I said, it does turn on and everything, and it keeps time. So I don't think there's too much of an issue. May change that clock battery there, but other than that, I think it's just dust and the thermal paste on these here. As you can see, these actually have some pins. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Yeah, there we go. So they correspond to these holes that are on the bottom of both these heat sinks. There's two underneath the other one as well. So when you line those up, they'll just slot, so that way you know they're in the right place. As I said, so going to place them in there, clean up the rest of these bits. So I'm going to move this one off and then get to work on this one. So you can see quite delicate, as in this is quite delicate to the plastic and stuff, so I think it's probably something I'll use in future videos, probably use for a long time. So you can see it's actually cleaned that up without any chemicals, any need for anything. It's not going to be a perfect job, but it's a hell of a lot more less dust than there was. So I'm going to do the same to this one. So yeah, I just think this is something I've probably wanted to do for a long time. Just never really had the confidence, I guess, to get on YouTube and do it. But after watching, like I said, again to reference the name, but Tronic Fix, it really inspired me. And then through him, his channel and through his stuff, seeing some other people that are online doing similar stuff and restoring consoles, restoring old things, just thought, something I'd really like to be involved in, really like to be doing. So I thought I'd do the same. And you can see, again, cleans it up really well. This is that top housing. So I'm just gonna give it a rough once over for now, for a second. And with this, you don't have to apply too much pressure with this brush, because obviously it's made for faces. It's quite soft on things like these, which I know from previous experience with PS4s. When you've got little metal bits like this that are touching things like, as you can see, these are corresponding to the eject and the power buttons on the top, the touch buttons. If you're a bit too forceful on them, you can lose connection when you put it all back together. So yeah, rather than using anything that's going to be brutal like a toothbrush, you could end up applying pressure where you don't want to apply pressure. So funnily enough, actually filming this on an old iPhone 8. So if you're thinking quality's not as good as cameras, the reason it's on an iPhone 8, because like I said, one of the things I want to be doing is not just saying my channel is going to be about fixing and mending stuff and building stuff, is utilise that across everything that I can involved with the channel. Obviously it's a first video, so it's not like I even don't know what it's going to lead to and stuff, but yeah, what it is should start from the beginning, hopefully, as I want it to. So as I said, it's actually been filmed on an iPhone 8, and some videos I've got an iPhone 6 for, and just an old little GoPro type of camera, which I might use, but don't know how good the quality would be because it's not a GoPro. It's just a random other one. Here we go, same screwdriver we were using before. Just gonna try a slightly smaller piece. Ooh. There we go. So for these screws, this is the PH0. I'm just going to keep these screws around here because it'll be easier for me to keep hold of them. So to remove this bottom panel, I'll do this. There's definitely not a disc in there. And as far as I can tell, that moves pretty freely. Right, now I'm going to add some thermal paste to the chips. Just because they're quite big, probably add quite a bit. Maybe a bit too much, but right, now we can get this whole thing reassembled. So now I'm just going to be putting it all back together, speeding it up, and then come back once the whole thing is together. So now I'm just going to start this up and make sure it's all working. So you can see that it's turning on. See, we've got stuff on the screen. So yes, we do. You can hear and see that starting up. Now I'm just going to put in, just as full of man, into the disk tray, see if it works. And it's gone in very nicely. And we'll just make sure that that's reading. So that's read absolutely fine, and the console's booted up, the game's running fine. I have tested it a little bit further after this, and all is good. So, thank you very much for watching the video. I will be bringing more videos to the channel. They'll be on some other stuff that I've found on eBay for very similar prices, £8 to £15. So, things like a PS2, a Sega Mega Drive 2, and a PlayStation 1, the original console. So yeah, I will be taking them apart, fixing the issues, various issues that are wrong with them, and hope to see you on those videos.